Hello, everyone. I am Sheriff Bear here with the first special guest of the channel. You may or may not know him. He is a member of the Den, Southern Juju.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
Now, Southern Juju is a car channel. Link in description. Yeah, I just said that. And we're gonna ask him some car questions, and then maybe, just maybe, we will stray way off. In this video will just be way too long. Make your
It's like a
predict.
2 hour long video podcast. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, make your predictions now.
Yeah.
Okay, set of questions. Are electric vehicles a good idea, Juju?
Um, Good idea, maybe. Practical idea, no, not at all.
Not at all.
Um, I feel like if I can elaborate on it a little bit, I feel like electric cars, electric vehicles, they a lot of people don't realize they tried that a long time ago. That was that electric cars actually were around before gasoline cars were in the late 1800s or early 1900s, and they didn't work. That's why we have combustion engines now, and they are fun and they're fast, right? I mean, you drive a Tesla. Teslas are fast. I mean, nobody can deny a Tesla is fast. But a lot of the people, especially myself, I compare them to a microwave hamburger versus one on a grill. It might be faster, but does it taste better? Um,
Oh, no, no, no.
You know what I'm saying? So, good idea. I feel like if you want to go fast, yeah, go ahead, buy a Tesla. But if you think that you're going to save the environment by it, no, not at all. It's not a practical idea.
That actually leads me into my next question here. Is the idea of the heavy promotion and tax credits of electric vehicles entirely politically based?
Most definitely. I feel like a lot of these politicians, I'm a car channel, and on my channel, we don't really try to get political because we always talk about cars. But a lot of times nowadays, especially, you kind of have to talk about it, especially with the way things are going now. If you're running any kind of car channel or anything like that, um, I feel like it's really politically based. When a few years ago, we never had to really worry about electric cars. I mean, they were around, they were getting popular, but they weren't being forced upon you. Now it's like with California, they have
Oh, yeah.
by the by the year 2035 to ban the sale of combustion cars. Um, they do this, and then the very next day they tell you to not charge your electric vehicle because of rolling blackouts. The very next day, so for them to do that, I mean, obviously, it's I feel like they want the cake and they want to eat it too. They want to force everybody to do what they want to do because it's a profitable extent. Because where does your electricity come from?
The government,
Coal,
yeah.
coal plants, oil plants. I mean, there's not 1,000 solar energy panels outside of a Tesla plant or whatever, getting the energy. You know, it's like GM with their cars and Ford even. And I'm a big Ford guy, but
Bannon Duramax.
it was like the
Oh, the Mach
electrification.
E, yeah.
Yeah, they came out. Well, GM, I think, with their Spark or their Blazer, the new Blazer that's all EV. They came out and said that they had an interview, and the guy was like, where do you guys get the where do you guys get the energy for these cars for the batteries? So and so plant. Uh, Turns out the plant runs off of 98% uh coal. All the energy produced out of that plant is 98% coal.
That completely defeats the purpose.
Exactly. So if you have more, and another fun fact about, kind of goes back to the practicality aspect of it. $10,000 you can buy a 2013, 2014 Chevy, was it the Sonic, whatever, the electric Chevrolet car, a little coupe or whatever. I can't remember the name of it. You can buy one used for like 10,000, 15 grand, something like that. The battery, and this is a 10-year-old car, mind you, $26,000 for the battery alone. That's not to mention this is for a 10-year-old car, not to mention one that's brand new. No telling what the battery well over 30 grand. The new Lightning, the battery fits upwards to $40,000. You can buy a 5 liter or an EcoBoost F-150 slightly used for 30 grand, whereas you can buy a battery for a brand new Lightning for 32. So the practicality aspect is if you have the money, go for it, But for the honest normal person, it's not really practical, and I feel like that's a lot of the political aspect of they want to push the agenda of do this, do that, and it's because they want to make money.
Should tax grants be like used for this? Because this is our tax dollars that they're sending off to these companies to further development of these. Is that okay?
I really don't know. I mean, personally, I think that you know it goes back to um, you know it shouldn't be a pushed agenda. It shouldn't be something that's pushed. And like with what Ford's doing, and a lot of people want to argue, they came out with the Lightning and the Mach E, but you can still get as of 2020, as of a few weeks ago in 2024, whereas Stellantis, which is Dodge, they're getting rid of their Hemis and
Ugh,
replaced them with
it's a
electrics.
mistake.
Yeah. Whereas in Chevrolet, it hasn't been confirmed, but a lot of rumors have been going around that in 23 or 2024 will be the last year for the Camaro altogether. Whereas, and that would mean that Ford is the only company beyond 2024, if all this is confirmed, where you can still get a V8 powered car with a manual transmission, minus the Corvette. Um, as far as like a muscle car, the Corvette's you don't compare a Mustang to a Corvette.
Right, Corvette
You
would
know,
whoop a Mustang any day.
yeah, it's just one of those things you don't compare. You would compare it to something like a Viper or something like that. It's just a lot of people who compare a Corvette to a Mustang is just not right. Um, but like, they're getting rid of these Hemis, and soon they Dodge came out and they're confirming diesel is still going to be a thing for a while, but they are dropping the 3 liter eco diesel that's in the 1500s to slowly phase them out. They're starting to phase the diesels out um in the Dodge brand. As far as
Right.
like Cummins, they're starting to phase
And
those out.
honestly, I think that's a horrible mistake because Cummins is an exclusive Dodge partner, and Cummins is one of the best diesel companies out there.
Exactly. Um, Again, I think it shouldn't be forced. I think that as far as like taxes and stuff goes, I think it's if you start doing stuff like that, it kind of litigates it being forced. It's like, hey, this has to happen, which it really doesn't have to happen because they tried it years and years and years ago. And it didn't work then, and why would it work now? Um, and I'm all for something different. I've seen people take like a '71 Plymouth Satellite and they took it and put a Tesla engine, and that's cool. It's something different. I'm not against electric vehicles. But I feel like the practicality and for someone to buy one to say I'm helping the environment, it's just not. That's not it. That's not. That's not. That's where it becomes a problem for me because it's really not. You're not saving anything.
Right.
So
I mean, honestly, you know, do you think that because these companies are getting so much government backing, do you think this is the end of the V8 era?
I don't know. That's another question that I really don't know, and it's scary. And a lot of people are comparing this to 1974, where the oil crisis hit. 1974, 1970, the late 60s and early 70s was the muscle car era. Where you had your Challengers, your Boss 302 Mustangs, and Chevy Camaro, Yenko, and big cars, Galaxy, Coronet, and stuff like that. A lot of muscle cars. And in 73, they had talk of a crisis coming out, and it happened. The Challenger and I I don't the Camaro stayed. The Mustang turned into a compact car. And I feel like that's kind of the reason the Mustang was able during that time. I think that was the Mustang. Now it still offered a 302, but I think the thing was pushing like 100 horsepower to the wheels. Like it was underpowered. It was just a V8, but you still got a V8. Um, and it's a very nobody liked the car. It was a Mustang too. Nobody liked it, and you see how long it actually took for Mustang, Ford, and Dodge and Chevrolet to come back to that iconic era of the when they brought out the Cobra in the 90s, in the 80s. Slowly in the 80s, you started to see some performance cars, and then in the 90s, they went full out with the Lightning, the 454 SS truck that Chevrolet put out, and it was starting to come back around. And then in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it got better and better and better. And then now you kind of see the same thing happen. It's like a cycle where it's kind of a fear that something's going to happen. Oh, gas. Well, there's no, there's plenty of gas. Um, it's just now it's a different agenda. It's a different crisis, if that makes sense. Instead of it being an oil crisis, it's a push to get these cars out of here crisis because it's a popular, it's a money method now. So I don't know. I mean, it very well could be after. We don't know, especially with California doing what they're doing with the ban of cell combustion engines after 2035. I don't know because they're doing this first, but what is to say that between now and then that what other states,
Right.
what other federal laws can come into place that might aid that? Um, so it's kind of a I don't know topic because it very well could be, but if it's a cycle, it eventually when we're all old and gray, it might come back around. We don't know. Um, I just do like I said, I like what Ford's doing, and they're keeping the option of a V8. They gave us the Mach E, and a lot of people hate. Personally, I feel like that car shouldn't wear the Mustang name. Uh,
Exactly. I agree with that.
but overall, it's not a bad car. It's not a bad, it's an EV, it's an SUV. If they could have called it something else, like a Galaxy or something, whatever. Now, I owned a Galaxy, a '67 Galaxy. Um, it was a totally different car, but I feel like it shouldn't wear the Mustang name. But it's not a bad car. And if we have a car, if we have to have a Mustang SUV that's all electric, so we can keep our 5.0s and our V8s and our manuals with a two-door fastback, I'm all for it. If that's what it takes to let us keep what we have, then go for it. I feel like that's at that point the only option. Whereas Stellantis, they're doing away with the Hemi after 2024.
Yeah, my other question, honestly, with all these government laws and stuff, do you think the EPA has way too much authority in this matter?
Oh yeah, certainly. And this stretches beyond electrics. I mean, you think about a lot of the diesels,
Oh yeah, those
diesel
emission
trucks,
laws.
emission laws on diesels, emission laws on. You think all the country, all the states that have smog. The state I'm in doesn't have it. So I mean, you could drive around with it, but a lot of states do, especially over the last few years. If you're and they're only cracking down. They came out, I think Nevada, if I'm not mistaken, is in the next few years is trying to pass a law that, um, and I don't know if you know, some states for classic vehicles, you can only drive them once a week. If it's registered as an antique vehicle, antique car, antique truck. And this doesn't have to be a '69 Mustang. It can be a '93 Ford truck that you use for work every day. But if it's registered as a classic vehicle, you can only drive it once a day. And they're pushing it now, whereas like Nevada, you have to your insurance doubles on a classic vehicle. And you have to own another. See, I own a '96 Ford, and 2 years ago it became a classic vehicle. Here in the state of Mississippi, you can I could only own that truck if I wanted to, and I could daily drive it. I could take it to a car show. I could do whatever I want with it. I could drive it every day. Put 200,000 miles on it every day if I wanted to. They're trying to pass it now to where classic vehicles to cut down on emissions. You have to log your miles. They have to pass smog. They had to pass another test that I can't remember. That your insurance will double, and you have to actually have proof that you own another vehicle that's not a classic car, considered a classic antique. I feel like when that becomes, because a lot of these people, you have a small business, you're not driving around in a 2024 Denali. You might have an 87 Chevy square body work truck that you have, and you just you're trying to make a living. You can't drive it. You got to go buy. You're forced to go buy a new truck. It's overstep. That's all it is. That's what I believe that is. I believe it's more of an overstep.